They're ready to eat. Get across this fence here.
Meet the Peterson family. Our dad, the three Peterson brothers, and our families farm together in central Kansas. Our family farm started in 1882 and has been raising cattle and crops ever since. Please subscribe to this channel and give us a like and a comment if you enjoy the video.
Alright, it got down, I think, to 5 degrees last night, but it wasn't windy. These are working exactly how they're supposed to. See, our water level might be a little low, so that one has a gap, and then it's got a little ice. We try to keep these waters set right, but they do a really good job when they don't have gaps. But we try to check them when it gets to single digits so we know that our cattle have water. But it helps when the wind's not blowing. Another factor that affects how easily the waters freeze is just the temperature of the water coming into it. We water the feedlot out of its pond water with a submersible pump. So the pond water this time of year starts getting colder. You know, it's probably in the 40s degrees or maybe even the 30s. I don't know for sure, but so then you have less heat there, you know. Like down at Dad's we have a good well, so we can water out of the well, and that's, you know, that basically stays, I think, in the 50s. Where the underground pipe comes up, we put a big tube. If you watched our video where we installed the water, and that big round tube goes down into the ground and lets the ground heat raise up to heat the water. You know, the farther north you live, you bury your water line deeper and deeper, and you put that tube deeper and deeper. So some of our waters probably should have a tube a little deeper for more ground heat, especially with using pond water. But like I said, you know, usually it's about 10 days of winter or something where we just have to check them and make sure they get loosened up. And it fluctuates winter to winter, so it's not that big a deal. We also can put heaters in like open waters, so we have a few of those. But you guys saw me working on one of those earlier, a couple weeks ago, and sometimes those heaters cause more problems than just these insulated ones with no electricity, because you got to keep that heater running, and if it has problems, if you have any electrical problems, then you're up the creek. So I don't think I'd want all of those.
Please welcome to the court the participants of today's Junior Classy Cats Class.
It's snowing again. I don't think it's supposed to be more than an inch. We had our coldest overnight temperatures yet, -9 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind has not been bad though. It's supposed to get windy this afternoon. By this afternoon, I think it's going to be 20 degrees. So I'm glad that those wind speeds weren't switched, or it would have been a pretty rough overnight. All the cattle lined up this morning. I already fed out my couple loads, and Dad's still working on his starter load. The cow load is fed. Yeah, looking forward to it warming up. Then there's some actual temps above freezing coming up. This is our third day of pretty much staying down pretty low temps. A couple waters have needed 1 or 2 balls broken. Most of them are open with at least 1 ball. And I'm just bringing some hot water around the sidekick and checking them all. So this one's got 6 balls. That one was frozen. Those 2 were just lightly frozen. This one over here was open without even having to mess with it. And then I thawed this one as well. So now there's 4 out of 6 of them open. That's plenty. So there's a few of these over here. They were ready to drink. It's a Wednesday. We have some sorting to do this morning. We're sorting all the groups we bought in December, basically. There's 2.5 pens of them. that we're going to sort them heifers and steers, get them split, and then we're going to need to use one of those pens to put cows in later this week. We are going to end up bringing those spring cows home that have been on corn stalks, but the snow just won't really melt. They've eaten all the corn off the ground, so we may as well. We'd rather feed them silage in the bunk line than feed them hay and have to drive 10 minutes every day to feed them hay. So we made that decision. We need a pen for that, and it'll all work together. Okay, we sorted pen 5. We got 22 steers, and the remainder were heifers. And now we're sorting pen 8B. All right, we are sorting the group heifers and steers. 100 something to look through. Mostly heifers. All right, it is sale day. Selling some heifers today. I got my first load fed out, which is the pen that they clean up a little bit of feed I gave them this morning. I spotted a heifer in a steer pen though. I want to get her out, get her pinned with the heifers. And so I wrote down her tag number. I'm gonna go back in and pull her out, stick her in with a heifer pen. She will need to be hauled down to my dad's because chances are she's already weighing up over 700 some pounds. So stuff like this is what happens whenever you get freeze, thaw, freeze, thaw. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to really ram it. That wheel it just rotates on the wheel when I'm trying to move it. Okay, I got it. Now we just roll this over here and then close that gate. She was easy to see earlier there. That's probably her back there. The Blaze Face, number 987. Okay, here's the pen we're gonna sell. Gotta get them out of the pen. I might need a partner for this. We'll see if I can get them myself. They don't always flow out of this pen super easily. But it's our biggest pen, so we feed cattle for quite a few days in here before needing to move them in and out very often. We don't usually have to pull any out of this pen. Just kind of put them in here and then sort them and then move them on the day of the sale. There, I got the front of them moved out. Hopefully the second half follows. Come on, heifers! Here we go. Getting the leader is the hardest part. Every now and then there's some tail enders who throw a circle fit, but we'll get them here. Okay, Nathan's loading the front. I'm gonna get the bottom, sorry, I'll get the top ready. I think they're gonna weigh well over 800 now that I took off the bottom 5. There you go, heifers. So I made it to Greg's with the pot. I ended up just deciding to come here. I didn't really buy many calves, and I can fit all the cows on the trailer. I could tell after I took off the lighter 5 to make it a truckload, I could tell they weighed heavier, like they might weigh 825 or so. And I was obviously hoping for over $2,000. That's about what our heifers brought the previous week. But anyway, these ones weighed heavier than I expected, so 850 or 846, and they brought better than I expected in dollars per pound, so over $21.50 for a heifer. Really happy with that. That was the group we bought on Superior. But anyway, I'm going to backhaul the cows home. Lensborg was it's easier to just stop by Greg's and get the cows than go to the home place and then come over here separate. Okay, Greg is backing up over here. We're gonna try not to get stuck in the snow. Here's the chute. Here's the alley. There's the cattle. great Uncle Terrence's old cow facilities here for our loadout. We're loading the bottom and then the back. So this is what needs to still fit on the truck. It works when we need it to work. Just a few gates here and there and an alley. Vercana came out to help us too. Okay, the spring cows are home from corn stalks.
Today, still in the shop. I got this here cylinder for the steering column of our 7130. I'm trying to get it in. I have not filmed any of the taking it apart, which might have been a little interesting to you guys. I do not watch very much TikTok. I don't really endorse. I don't really like reels and stuff, but I saw this just totally randomly of this guy replacing this exact part. And so I've been trying to click through it super slowly to see how it comes apart. So shout out to, I think it's like J.H. Miller Farms or something. He's a John Deere tech and he fixes stuff. So I've watched some of his other stuff. But in fact, I found multiple things that I needed to fix. And he had the solution for them right on there. This switch to air up the seat should be an easy fix. And these things just kind of recently happened. And it's really annoying to have a flat seat and a steering wheel that doesn't stick in place. I had to take the steering wheel off, and then there was just 3 bolts here that came off. And then these things were a little tricky to get loose, but you kind of just stuck a tab in here. That's the part that wasn't on the video, so I had to figure that out. You stick a tab in and pull that red part out. And then it just all slid off the top. Now, you know, I got to get it loose here. I don't know if I have the right one. That's very unfortunate. It kind of stinks on a feeding tractor because I got to have this ready for Dad's evening chores. Okay, so this piece is too wide. And then our tractor, for whatever reason, has a roll pin or not. I don't know, a pin through there. I couldn't get it to drive out anyways. So I improvised. I just screwed that out there, and then I guess I'll screw this one back. Also, it was real fun getting this plastic off. I thought for sure I was going to break it. Hopefully we're in business. Okay, so both the bottom piece and the top piece of the new one were just slightly wider than our tractor. I suppose on the newer ones, they just made it a little beefier or something. But anyways, I just switched those 2 pieces and I'm still using the same. This actually didn't want to come out anyways. And the new one is threaded, so I'm sure they're a lot easier, the newer ones. So that's probably another reason they changed it, was so they could do threaded pins. Well, I mean, make them bolts. There was 2 different deals. I'm gonna try to get it all back together now. And hopefully get everything to work. I gotta get this spring and this hook right. I got a mess here. It's almost 3 o'clock, so I got about an hour to get it all back together. Okay, I finally got that piece of plastic, or I finally got everything back together. It's always a little nerve-wracking doing plastic dashes because I don't want to crack any plastic. But we got it all. And Dad should have his tractor back for chores, so as long as everything works here. So now we can go down, it stays put, and go to any spot. So before it was wobbling up and down, so another thing checked off the list. Alright, it's just after 4, so I'm done in time for chores. Also, Dad was the one that slowed me down a little. I helped him with a couple things, but everything works. We're driving, we're steering. Time to feed the cattle and go home.
Off goes the trailer. Got 39 head. I tell you what, you might pay an extra $1 or $2 per head for hauling with a ground loader instead of a pot. Boy, they come off the truck a lot faster, a lot less time in the cold in the middle of the night. All right, we are working some cattle. The majority of these are from El Dorado, so we're about half done probably. Hey, different thing about this group is there are some bulls in this group, so we are banding the bulls whenever we're running them through to give them vaccines. So we check every group of steers that comes in, but these ones we knew for sure they were bulls. So this here guy is a bull. It's our second bull so far. So got banded him. He's gonna go in the pen with some of the slower or thinner cattle and just get babied a little bit versus these growthier cattle on the left. So I came down here to open the gates. Dad's gonna push them down here. They're gonna go into our new pen with the shed. Just a few. These calves basically have their ration already clean before we worked them. Now they're already at the bunk wanting to eat more, so I'm gonna feed that pen separate down there at the end, and we'll give them some hay to fill up. They're still getting long stem hay. Backgrounding is kind of a seasonal thing with price swings. Seasonal part of the cattle industry. We try to buy year round, which means we're competing with guys who are going to start buying for grass here pretty soon, which is why we end up with some bulls in the winter. But it's a lot easier to start a bull that you've cut than when it's 20 degrees than it is when it's like 90 degrees in the fall. So we're willing to take them then, but they're a big discount. They're not worth near as much as steers in the sale barn. She's pulling the sled to make a track.
It's a Monday morning, and we are dropping off two more one fat steer and one fat heifer to be butchered. One half will be staying with us, and then 3 halves will be going to local friends and neighbors that buy from us. Feeding some corn on top of our ration to these for a couple months. That's what we do to fatten them. So I was working on this steering wheel the other day. The other things it needed was this switch to air up and lower the seat, and this armrest, which we have wore out. These two things combined were $200, if anybody was wondering. This little switch, $90. That was a little frustrating. But now we don't have to squat down in the seat, and Dad can have a nice seat to feed cattle with again. I tried to look for some aftermarket options, which I could not really find any, which might partly be why they cost so much. I don't know. Those things were driving me nuts. We just hadn't got around to fixing them.
Looking at heifers at my dad's house. I don't get a chance to look at these while they're eating very often. I was dropping off one of my kids at grandma's. Here's some more of them. These are some lighter ones. Alright, we gotta... Yeah, you're good! Okay, we gotta sort off some heifers. Hey, go on, heifers! Hey, hey! The second I started filming, they stopped. They were going perfectly in a nice, smooth line. One more heifers down to my dad's. And then I'm gonna head to a cow sale. With this purchase of cows, I am probably gonna commit to dry lotting our fall cows, which means summering them in the feedlot, more so than on grass, for part of the year. Part of that's because our pastures, it's raining enough to grow forage, so we can chop that forage up or bale that forage up, feed it to our cows. It's not raining enough to fill the ponds of the pastures. So we're gonna stock the pastures with spring cows, some that we've already owned and some that I'm gonna buy. And then we're going to keep the fall cows here and feed them a ration built for a pregnant mid to late gestation cow. And then that's going to be the cow operation for the summer. Those fall cows, I think, will still be running out on triticale kind of through March, and then the second half probably into May, and then maybe through wheat harvest in those hottest months. Unless something changes, that's probably the plan. One more light heifers down to my dad's. They're starting to be, when it thaws, it's going to be wet. So these are the last ones getting off here. Should be close to 200 head here now, but we're going to sell off 60 in like 10 days. So these ones are noticeably lighter than what the size we sell. They're going into pen 3 down here. So this is our first time going back here. You like the horses? Nope. This is where the action happens. Are you chasing some cattle? Here they come. Here come the next semis.
Okay.
So I've never loaded out on the north side before, but that's because I guess they only use this side for cows. So Blair and I are waiting over here. It's a nice night. I'm glad Nathan is choring for me, otherwise it would be late. Made it home with the cows. Blair wants to watch them unload, but she's cold. Beautiful sunset to enjoy while I get these cows unloaded.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Check out our music videos linked in the description. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, and explore our website, www.petersonfarmbrothers.com. See you guys next time.